What's about to happen at the 2025 Austrian Grand Prix? What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We're here to talk about our predictions for the 2025 Austrian Grand Prix. For the first time in a few seasons, more than a few seasons really, it is a non-sprint weekend in Austria, in which for the very rare first time potentially ever in history, I'm going to say that actually might be a big L. Austria, I think, is just set up perfectly for a sprint race weekend. But unfortunately for us, we are not getting one this year. So it is a traditional 3 practice sessions, qualifying, and a Grand Prix on Sunday. What do you think about that, actually? I would love to hear what you guys think. I know we all like to harp on sprint weekends, but at the same time, Austria, for some reason, just works to the max. But regardless, let's go ahead. Let's chat about the predictions that we're going to make today for the Austrian Grand Prix. We're going to be talking about our biggest positive surprise, our biggest disappointments, our qualifying top 3, our race podium, and as always, we'll wrap things up with our one crazy prediction. And if you're interested in joining our Community Predictions Championship, as you watch the video along the bottom of the screen for each prediction, you'll see a couple of the predictions made by my community over in our Discord channel. So if you're interested in joining in and having your predictions featured not only in the video, but added to our Predictions Championship that we host on the side, we'd love to have you join us. Just head to the link down below, join the Discord, and we'd love to have you join us. But without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's jump on into this thing with our biggest positive surprise. This week for biggest positive surprise, I am going with a little bit of a homer pick. I'm sticking in the Haas F1 team, but I'm going with Ollie Behrman this weekend for a multitude of reasons. One of which is that it always seems like Haas does pretty decently around Austria. In the last few years, we've also had some of our best finishes of the season this weekend in Austria. So I think around the Red Bull Ring, the Haas just seems to work sometimes. It seems like it's really, really hit or miss. So it's either we're doing the top of the timesheets or we're way at the bottom. So what kind of weekend are we going to get this weekend? I think I'm going to choose the Hopium route and go with Ollie Behrman, who has experience around the Red Bull Ring, has success experience around the Red Bull Ring, as well as a relatively simplified track that's all about precision and going fast and nailing your spots. I think for some reason it's just going to speak to him. Believe he won here in F2 last season, so I think he has this, he has what it takes to win in Austria around the Red Bull Ring. I think we're going to see a special performance from Ollie, who's been pretty on the heels of Esteban the last few weekends. I think this could be the weekend where he leaps Esteban and potentially bags a very, very good result for the team. So Ollie Behrman, my pick for biggest positive surprise. Let's move on now to our pick for biggest disappointment this weekend. And this is another one of those that just pains me deep, deep, deep to my core that I have to do this. But I'm going with Nico Hülkenberg in the Sauber. Obviously, I love Nico Hülkenberg. You can't see it, but just off screen, I actually have a signed print from, I believe it was last season when he was still with Haas. And so it is definitely pains me to do this. But Nico has run on an absolute tear in this Sauber, getting multiple top 10 finishes and some very, very good top 10 finishes at that. And so I think it's about time we see one of those weekends for Sauber that they might just not be on the pace. And while they're definitely not, the back marker that they used to be, and they're definitely capable of fighting for points this year, it just kind of feels like the success can't last forever, and it's about time we see a classic Sauber weekend. So this one is sort of a bit of a vibes pick, and also hedging my bets from some later predictions. So keep an eye out for that. But unfortunately, Nico, you are my pick for biggest disappointment this weekend. Before we get on to qualifying predictions, if you haven't already, subscribe down below. We'd love to have you join our little community here. I know I gave a little bit of a spiel kind of at the beginning of it, but it's true. We would love to have you join the little community, as well as leave your predictions down below in the comment section. I'd love to see what you guys have cooking up for this weekend around the Red Bull Ring. And if you've made it this far into the video, leave a like rating. It really helps me out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in to our qualifying top 3. For our qualifying top 3, qualifying at the Red Bull Ring is always one of my favorites. It's such a short lap, it's really not that many corners, and it's all about who can nail it at the perfect time. Let's go ahead and kick off my qualifying predictions with P3. I'm going with Oscar Piastri. Obviously, his first race, I believe, of the season, not on the podium last time out in Canada, ultimately, but he did qualify in the top 3, so we need to remember that. But I think this is going to be a bit of a bounce back week for Oscar. Just going to continue to march along to his own pace and do what he needs to do. And it's going to start P3 in qualifying, because I think we're going to see a battle for pole position around Austria. And it's going to be between P2 and P1. But my pick for P2 is going to be Max Verstappen. Now, I know I could, go on and wax poetical about how it's the Red Bull ring, he's a Red Bull driver, and, all this, that, and the other thing. But I truly think that Max actually does have a lot of what the Red Bull ring desires. It's a lot of hard braking zones, it's a lot of sharp steering, and it's a lot about knowing where to put the car at the optimal moment. And so Max is going to get the most out of that car no matter what. And now that they definitely look like they've taken a bit of a step forward with the setup and the development of the car, I think Max is only going to continue to get faster and faster. And I think we could see another weekend just like last year at the Red Bull Ring, where we see a bit of a fight towards the front with Max Verstappen on this one coming home in P2. But that only leaves pole position for Austria. The Red Bull Ring can only have one at the front, and I'm going with Lando Norris. And now I know what you're saying. Dakota, Lando's qualifying this year has been disastrous, including the worst qualifying we've ever seen, not but 2 weeks ago. And for that exact reason, I say exactly. It seems like every time I give up on Lando or want to give up on Lando in qualifying, he absolutely comes out and dominates from the jump. The last time I officially 1,000,000% gave up on Lando was Monaco, in which he put it on pole and won the race. And so for this time, I am choosing to reverse psychology myself. When I'm ready to give up on Lando, he's going to put it on pole position. So Lando, don't let me down. Breathe, relax, my guy. You're in the McLaren. You're doing okay, I promise. Just relax. It's one of the simplest tracks on the calendar, potentially only behind like Monza. Just breathe, relax, put a good lap in, and we'll be all right. But there we have it, guys. My top three in qualifying: an Oscar Piastri P3, Max Verstappen P2, and a Lando Norris pole position. All right, here's where the magic happens, our race podium predictions, and I have some spice today, but it all starts in P3 without further ado. I'm going with Charles Leclerc for P3 here in Austria this weekend. I think Charles and Ferrari always seem to do pretty decently around the Red Bull Ring. And while this season they definitely haven't been quite up to snuff as they were potentially last year, I think they definitely still put themselves in pretty solid positions. And I think Charles, which loves this track, he always seems to perform pretty decently around here, will be in the mix for a podium. And I think he gets the job done to the tune of a P3 here at the Red Bull Ring. As we move on now to P2 in the race podium, I'm going with George Russell this week. That's right. Breathe, relax, we're getting there. George has been on a very solid, beyond words, good start to the 2025 season. Or I guess we're nearing almost the halfway mark. So the first half of George's season has been fantastic, culminating in a win, a slew of podiums, and a lot of points. I think George is going to continue to be there, as Mercedes apparently has decided they want to be able to work in more conditions than, the not 0.1 degrees difference in setup window that they usually have had over the last couple of seasons. And I think George, once again, is going to put himself to be near the front with a solid weekend, and it's going to culminate in a P2 here in the Red Bull Ring. But that leaves only our winner for the Austrian Grand Prix here in 2025. I'm going with our championship leader, Oscar Piastri. That's right, I'm going with another Oscar Piastri win, extending his championship lead once again. And it just feels like one of those weekends where something crazy could happen, because Austria breeds chaos. And I think Oscar will be right there to pick up the pieces and get another win on his belt here in 2025, extending his championship lead and just doing what he does best, which is driving fast cars, being pretty level-headed, and being there to take advantage when the time arises. So Oscar, congratulations, you're my pick for the winner of the Austrian Grand Prix. But guys, that leaves only one prediction remaining, and I think you have a feeling where I'm going with it. That's right, my one crazy prediction is that Max Verstappen will leave Austria with a one-race ban looming over his head. Whatever that is from, I will leave that up to your imagination. and what we're going to see this weekend over on the other side of the world. But I think my one crazy prediction has a potential for coming true, because not only does Austria breed good racing, it breeds a lot of desperate moves and a lot of hurt feelings when the race is all over. You get the right spot, if you get the wrong spot at the wrong time, you never know what's going to happen. What do you think of my one crazy prediction? Do you think the FIA would actually give Max a one-race ban? I think they might. But guys, there we have it. What did you make of my predictions for the Austrian Grand Prix this weekend? And what are your predictions for these same categories? I'd love to see what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Once again, if you haven't already, subscribe. We'd love to have you join us. And once again, if you've made it all the way through the video, leave a thumbs up. It really helps me out. But guys, we'll be back after the Grand Prix weekend is over. I hope you enjoyed. I cannot wait for it to get here. But until then, guys, I'll see you in the next one.